I kept this 3D printed mouse heavy in my rotation for the past week. Meet the Piranha Mouse Mods Viper Mini Wireless. As you can tell from the name, it's an upgraded spin on the very popular Razer Viper Mini. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what the mouse is made up of, how it performs in game, and whether or not I recommend you pick one up for this steep price. Of course, thank you to Piranha Mouse Mods for sending this out to me. If you do pick one up, use code MINUTE for a discount. Now without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, this mouse is supposed to be the Razer Viper Mini, but better. What we've been asking for, a wireless ultimate version. Now no, it doesn't host the same features as the Razer Viper Ultimate like optical switches, but it still has its own upgrades. In this video, we're gonna cover it all. So first, let me explain what Piranha mice even are. Pretty much take a fan favorite mouse or really popular, highly coveted mouse, 3D printed shell but with a honeycomb design for lighter weight, and add G305 or G603 internals. That way you can make it wireless and still give it a good sensor. On top of that, they had Kill 4.0 switches that allow for switch tensioning, which we'll get into later, and their own 100% PTFE feed. So in simpler terms, they try to take what people like and make it better in their own way. But of course, no product is perfect or free of criticism. Take a look at the shape. It's obvious it has the same silhouette as the Razer Viper Mini. So it's going to be relatively smaller and mainly for fingertip grip and claw grip, no palm grip, unless you just have really small hands. So right, obviously the shapes are the same, but the build qualities are very different. The Viper Mini is often referred to as a tank, meaning that it doesn't really flex at all, and it's built pretty sturdy. The Piranha wireless version, on the other hand, is kind of the opposite. Now fortunately, unless you have bear grip, you're really not going to notice this that much in game. You can definitely tell some of it's there, but it's nothing alarming or performance altering. But it's definitely more present than your typical mouse. Now it's definitely credited to the 3D printed material and the lack of interior supports, but that's how they cut the weight down by a lot. Now speaking of the weight, mine weighs 58 grams, which is pretty much there with the advertised 57 grams, which is lighter than your typical Razer Viper Mini, which is like 61 or 62 grams without a cable. Mine weighs 59 grams without a cable for some reason. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't say it's that big of a difference for weight, but considering the fact that they have to add an extra battery inside of it, it's pretty impressive that it's still lower. Talking about the glide of this mouse, I feel like it was really good. Obviously, it's a 58 gram mouse with 100% PTFE feet. It's gonna be nice out of the box. Now, it's not the most frictionless PTFE feet I've ever had, but it's definitely good. Now for the clicks, before we talk about the tensioning, let's talk about the Kill 4.0s. Yeah, overall, I'm a huge fan of the Kill 4.0s. They definitely feel like a step above 20mm Omrons, they have more tactility to them, and they overall just feel more pronounced. And when I say pronounced, I don't mean heavy, I just mean there's more confirmation behind each click. And oh yeah, I did get mine to double click in Minecraft. Not the most insane CPS like Model O level, but definitely double clicking that's noticeable. Now since the internals are Logitech, you can only control this mouse through the Logitech software, so no controllable debounce time. Now the mouse tensioning feature is something I'm actually a big fan of. So the concept is that you use a screwdriver to loosen up how close your mouse button is to each switch. So let you control if you want tighter or looser clicks. Now the biggest downside of the main two clicks is the post travel. As you can see, there's a pretty decent amount, and in game I could feel it. I wouldn't say it's a big enough feeling to make me be worse at a game, but still something you're probably not gonna be comfortable feeling paying this much for a mouse. Now as for the rest of the buttons, let's start off with the scroll wheel. I like the scroll wheel, I think it's pretty good, no squeaks on my copy, and the steps are pretty defined. For the side buttons though, I like how big they are and where they're placed, I like that, but there's a lot of travel to them, and whenever you press them, there's a little bit of flex on the inner PCB for them. Overall, I think the buttons are great on this mouse, I just think there's a few travel issues that they need to fix. Okay, let's wrap it up and talk about this mouse and whether or not I actually recommend it. So looking back at it, it offers a lot of great things. It has the Viper Mini shape, which I'm a fan of, has Kill 4.0 main switches, which in my opinion are very nice, and a nice gliding experience. But it has two big issues that I feel like just need to be pointed out and warned. And that's that the build quality has its issues. Like for example, the flexing on the sides and just overall all around the mouse, and the travel found on some of the buttons. Now the second biggest concern is the price. If you combine their current sale and my promo code, you can pick up this mouse for about just under $200, which is about $40 to $50 more than a Superlight and the exact same price as a Starlight. So even if the build quality is perfect, just the price alone is what makes me not recommend this to a lot of you. The only people I can really recommend this to are the niche customers with money to blow on a mouse they've been waiting to come out with a lighter and wireless version. I love this mouse, I think it's good, I just think its price is so big for it. I understand they're not a full-on company like Logitech or Razer who has machines making other mice. I think a lot of it is handmade or hand assembled, so I get the price, but it just can't compete.